the Netflix Resident Evil show. Did you end up giving this one a chance?
Yeah, we watched, I think, one episode, and the like giant alien zombie worm thing
Yeah, the
kind of
giant
coming out of the
caterpillar.
ground. Yeah, I that was it for me.
So
The protagonist was so awful. And,
I
like,
watched the
everything was so
entire show.
bad.
She is terrible. I watched the
Yeah.
entire show. Fans were wondering what I thought of it. I didn't like hate it. What I can tell is I'm like, I don't think this started as a Resident Evil show.
No, I don't think so either.
And I think at some point they made it Resident Evil, but they overcompensated because the show literally takes place in the Resident Evil universe. All the games happened. However, this is an alternate reality where the only difference is in this reality, everything from the games happened except Wesker is black and pop songs exist. That is the only difference. But they straight up, spoiler, there's a bunch of Weskers. And Lance Reddick is actually really good in the show, but he's just not Wesker. He dresses up like traditional Wesker and he looks like Blade.
Did that Raccoon City movie come out this year too?
No, it came out the year before. They were
God, Resident Evil has so many bad movies.
They were making both these at the same time, but at some point they're talking to one of the Weskers, and he's like, "The original Wesker died in the volcano." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" So Resident Evil, I'm like, "So Resident Evil 5 happened in this continuity?" So they throw in all these references to the games, but it doesn't really tie super much into the plot. I'm like, "You guys overcompensated." But no, it's
please tell me that's how the exchange went, Tony. Where's this guy? Oh, he fell into a volcano.
No, literally,
and then they move on.
because it's like multiplicity. There's multiple Weskers, and the one's kind of dumb. And he's like, the original Wesker was bad, but it's okay. He died in a volcano.
Is the dancing scene just as amazing as it looked on social media?
That's out of context. People don't realize she's being controlled with like nano machines or something.
Oh, well, I assumed there was something like that, but it still looked so stupid.
So I kind of like enjoyed the show here and there. What I did like, you talk about the caterpillar, because one thing that gets left out of all the movies are the giant animals.
Sure.
So we got a giant spider, we got the giant caterpillar, we got a giant alligator toward the end of it. But yeah, it just felt like, hey, this is just a different zombie thing. Someone had a idea for a zombie show that's pre and post pandemic, and then someone went, make it Resident Evil, throw all these references in.
Yeah, it felt very kind of like amateur art school too with the production.
Yeah.
There was a shot just in the first episode where the two unlikable characters are sitting on the sidewalk. It's super fucking bright outside and everything's white, you know? And the camera is placed like on the sidewalk ground, and half of the character is out of frame. I'm just thinking, like, this is not, you don't learn to shoot like this. When people are talking, you go over the shoulder, you give a perspective. This jackass is like, we're going to focus on the blades of grass over here, like some fucking M. Night Shyamalan stuff.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. Like, no.
It would have been an interesting pre and post zombie apocalypse thing, but the characters kind of sucked. And the Resident Evil stuff they injected in it was so bizarre. It was like, okay, well, there's liquors. They did the liquors right, I guess. But yeah, there's a fat guy who goes on a shooting spree, and everyone kept calling him John Thick.
God.
By the way, do you know how fucked up Philly is? You saw the first Creed movie, right?
Yeah, I like Creed movie.
The girl keeps saying how people in Philly keep calling things a John. There's that whole scene. That is a thing. People will refer to things as a John. I don't do it, but that's
weird. So, that's like saying Coke for all forms of soda or pop.
Yeah,
what
are we doing that John?
Here?
Yo, that John over there. Now, a few years ago, there was a guy who was holed up in his house and he was shooting at the police. And it was one guy. No one got hurt. No one ever ended up getting shot, but he was fending off like a bunch of cops. So everyone in Philly started calling him John Wick.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to bring that up. The John Thick reminded me of the John Wick. I'm like, this is like a scary thing that's happening. Everyone's like, John Wick is fending off the cops. If you're in Philly, do you guys remember John Wick? I don't know how that story ended. Anyway,